Hello, hello, hello. So we're going to continue our investigation of the cell, and today we're going to talk specifically about the organelles within the cell, and we previewed them last week, so we should at least be somewhat familiar. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to try to understand the structure and function of the major organelles of the plant and animal cells, and I want you to be able to compare and contrast between the plant and the animal cells. So we'll talk briefly also about the differences and the similarities between the two. So first question might be, why do we study the cells? Well, these are the basic units of life, and they're the smallest living structural unit found in all living organisms, and they have all these organelles in them that help the cell do the things that it needs to do. Each organelle does its own little job, and together they work in harmony to allow us to be alive, essentially. So let's start looking at, here's a plant cell. You've probably seen illustrations similar to this. It lists all of the different different organelles. We're going to talk about these today, and there's also some other stuff listed on this illustration. We won't get into that today. We're going to focus on the major organelles, things like the chloroplast, the Golgi complex, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the mitochondria, the vesicles, the plasma membrane, ribosomes, and the nucleus. They call it Golgi complex here. But you might also see it as the Golgi apparatus. So Golgi apparati. That's how I like to say it. It's more fun that way. So you try it. Golgi apparati. All right, let's move on. All right, so the cell organelles in plants and animals are, for the most part, pretty much the same. So you see that all cells have a cell membrane, a nucleus, a mitochondria, cytoplasm, vacuoles, ribosomes, the ER, we say for short, or the endoplasmic reticulum, and there it is again, my favorite one, the Golgi apparati. All right, but plant cells have a few specific features that aren't found in animal cells, and those are the cell wall, the chloroplasts, which are what converts light to energy, and then there's also the large central vacuoles that squirt water out when they need to. And in the animal cells, something that plant cells don't have are the lysosomes. Okay, so we're going to use a little analogy today, and we're going to compare the plant cell to Pizza Hut. Yes, it can be done. So the organelles inside of a plant cell are needed to keep the cell working and functioning correctly, and the things inside of a Pizza Hut work to keep that place running too. So the nucleus is one of our organelles, a very important organelle. It controls everything in the cell. It holds all of the genetic information that we call DNA. And a manager at a Pizza Hut is similar to a nucleus because the manager tells the other employees what to do, just like the nucleus tells the rest of the cells how to build their products. We also have chloroplasts, and again, this is only found in the plant cells, and they convert energy from the sun, or light, into sugar for the cell, which then gets converted into energy. So the electric generator at the Pizza Hut is kind of like the chloroplast. It provides all the energy that the Pizza Hut needs in order to do the things that it needs to do to make your pizza. So the cell wall is another organelle, even though it doesn't seem like it's an organelle, but it has a very specific function. It surrounds the membrane, the cell membrane. Animal cells have cell membranes, but they don't have the cell wall, so this is unique to the plant cell as well, and it gives extra support to the cell. And just like the cell wall, Pizza Huts have walls too, and they keep everything inside the building, and it keeps the building standing and protects the inside from the outside. You wouldn't want all the rain and dust and exhaust fumes from the cars driving by the Pizza Hut to be on your pizza. So we need walls at the Pizza Hut. The vacuole holds food and nutrients, and it also holds waste products and helps the cell get rid of those. So they're very important. And just like at a Pizza Hut, the vacuole at the Pizza Hut would be like the fridge. And the fridge holds food and other items that need to be stored for use later. The cell membrane, which is also found in the animal cell, chooses what can come in and out of the cell. So it's a very important job. So this would be like the doors at the Pizza Hut that let the people in and out of the building. Then we have the cytoplasm. This is that jelly stuff that's inside the cell that Ms. Throckmorton talked about last week. And it basically holds everything together and in place and gives it some structure. And so this would be like the floor of the Pizza Hut because everything happens on top of the floor. So everything in the cell is happening in the cytoplasm. It's all throughout the cell. The mitochondria, that's the main energy producer for the cell. And this would be similar to the oven at the Pizza Hut because the oven makes energy in order to cook the pizza. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you get the idea. So we also have ribosomes. These are also very important. We talked about them a lot last week. These are non-membrane bound organelles. They're kind of unique. And they are the ones that do the work of making proteins for the cells. And this is kind of like the cooks in the Pizza Hut because the cooks, they're going to make the food for the customers. So the ribosomes are going to make all kinds of different proteins for the cell. And here again, you know it's my favorite, the Golgi apparati. This little bugger does the manufacturing and shipping of certain cellular products, mostly proteins. This is kind of like the Pizza Hut pizza box and the people who put the pizza in those boxes. The boxes are packages and the pizza goes into them and then they get shipped out to the customers by the delivery guy. Lastly, we have the cytoskeleton that forms a basic framework for the movement of the organelles throughout the cell, and it also provides some structure to the cell as well. And this would be kind of like the legs of the chair in the Pizza Hut because the chair legs support the person sitting on the chair. We also don't want to forget about our friend the smooth and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So the endoplasmic reticulum's job is to move things around the cell to where they belong. And they do some modifications as well. Okay, so the smooth ER is kind of like the worker who takes the order and tells the cooks in the Pizza Hut what to do. And then the cook can make your food. And then the rough ER is like the worker who brings your order. So it's kind of like the delivery guy, brings you the food to the customers. So that's what the rough ER does. Remember, we can call the endoplasmic reticulum, because it's such a long word, we can use the little ER for short. So that's how Pizza Hut is like a plant cell. They both have very similar functions, kind of in a strange way. But I mentioned that we were going to talk about all cells, and the differences between plant cells and animal cells. So, went too far. So we have the animal cells that have a lysosome that we don't find in the plant cells, and the lysosomes break down large food particles into smaller ones. So if Pizza Hut was an animal cell, which we were comparing it to a plant cell, but if it were an animal cell, the pizza cutter would be the lysosome. Okay, so we also have some other differences. The plant cells, as I mentioned, have cell walls, which the animal cells don't have. This is outside the cell membrane. They also have chloroplasts, and they have large central vacuoles. The animal cell has some unique features too, and that's the lysosome, which we just talked about. So we've also got these items here that are found both in plant and animal cells. So that's a wrap. See you next time.